right, everybody. Welcome back to Dirt Behind the Scenes. I am D-Ham, and tonight I am joined by a bad son of a gun named Kyle Bond. Kyle, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Good, buddy. What's up?
Just another glorious night here in my wonderful abode. So you had a good weekend. You went down to Mudlick. What do you think about that place?
Man, I tell you, I really like that place. I think we've been down there 4 times, and we've won 3 out of the 4. And just in winnings, I think I've won over $7,500 out of that place.
Just out of Mudlick.
Yeah, just out of those 3 times that we won down there. That place is good to us. We enjoy going down there.
Now,
and they're good people. Like, they're really trying to, they put on a bunch of pretty good money shows. So, no, we enjoy going down there.
what's that racing surface like? Does it translate to anything, back in our region, like, say, Valley, Tyler County, Skyline?
Be honest with you, man, it's its own deal. 1 and 2 is so different than 3 and 4. An odd description of it that I kind of feel like getting into turn 1 and 2 is kind of similar to maybe how you would get into turn 1 and 2 at I-77. It's just a lot bigger, and it's banked a lot more. But as far as anything around here, no, it's its own animal.
Before you went down there and won, finished third, right, in the Greg Schilling Memorial?
Yeah, third. I finished third Friday night.
You got third, and then you followed that up the following night and picked up I believe it was 1,200 to win, Rumble on the Ridge win there at Skyline. Now, let's talk about Skyline a little bit, because I feel like that track, it probably holds a special place in your heart. You're a third generation driver. Your grandpa, Ronnie, he's bona fide legend. Your dad, I mean, everybody back home literally calls him Larry Legend. What does it mean to you as a driver to win at a racetrack that is so rich in your family's history? And, not even mentioning your uncle, Andy, who, oh man, he was an absolute badass back in the day at Skyline Speedway and other racetracks. But, he was really, really good at Skyline Speedway as well. What does it mean to you as a driver to be able to, win at a racetrack like that that's so rich in your family's history?
Well, that's just where I grew up. I mean, that's probably one of my first racing memories, is being out to Skyline, probably at one of the early Harvest 50s. That's just where I grew up, plus being that close to home. And kind of a fun fact that a lot of people probably don't know, my grandparents actually owned Skyline for a short period of time. So Skyline's always been pretty close to us as far as wanting to do good. Your family's right there. All your friends come out because it's close. So Skyline's always been a place that we really try to put in the time to really be good there.
Now, you're on your 11th full season in the open wheel modifieds.
Man, I'm getting old.
Hey, boy, ain't we all, man? Hey, listen, the other day I went in there and I was trimming my beard up, and I was looking in the mirror. Dude, I'm telling you, about sent me into a midlife crisis. I had some white hairs in my beard. You believe that? Hey,
I guarantee it.
I'm telling you, hey, I about drove off to Walmart and bought me some of that Just for Men.
I got some gray hairs in there. I try to hide.
You ain't got no damn gray hair, boy.
You just can't see them right now. It's the lighting.
But, you're in your 11th full season in the modifieds, and what some people might not know out there, you actually have a late model win to your credit. That was at I-77 Speedway. That would have been 3 years ago?
Yeah, I think that was for Mark Morrison.
Yep.
I believe that was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, in a Kryptonite car.
Something else that a lot of people might not know. I've heard, maybe some rumors that number 10 on the side of a late model might be making a return to racetracks back home. Is there any truth to that?
There is some truth to that. We're really excited about that. We've kind of kept it under the hat a little bit. We've been kind of working with Freddie and Tyler a lot, and they've helped us out a ton, and we're really excited to get this thing out. The biggest thing I'm excited about is it's actually our stuff. So, I own it. So we're going to get to do what we want to with it, when we want to. Plan to maybe run 3 or 4 races here at the end of the year. Try to get it dialed in for maybe that Steel Box Series next year. But no, we're really excited about that. We're pumped.
I have to be honest and say I'm actually pretty excited. I'm obviously a little bit older than you, so I've watched you climb up the ranks per se. I watched you in mini wedges, and I was lucky enough to get to work with you at Poske. And boy, was that a journey.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hey, just a little side note for everybody out there. Dave, if you watch this, love you, man. I'm grateful for everything you've ever did for
I
me
think
in
it's
my life.
I think it's been too long ago. I think we're safe, or at least I'm safe. You're definitely safe.
I think I'm safe in telling this story, but there was once upon a time where me and Kyle, we were working together at Dave Poske's Performance Parts. Shout out to Brian, Todd, Dave, my dad, Jordan, Kyle, everybody at the shop, Dakota, awesome, awesome staff of people, Michonne, everybody back at Poske's, just a wonderful staff of people to work with. But there was a point in time where me and Kyle, we were sent to the tire building. They had the main showroom, attached to a decent
Mm.
sized warehouse, and then they had the tire building down at the opposite end. And me and Kyle had gotten sent down to the tire building. Pretty much we were just supposed to go down there and clean up, and get all the Hoosier Tire stickers, peeled up off the floor and reorganize the tire racks. I mean, if I remember right, if my memory serves me correct, it was a little colder out. So we took the full wheeler down. And we opened the big bay door down there, and we pulled the full wheeler in there. We commenced to we was organized, and we was doing what we were supposed to do. And
We
then
was working.
yeah, we was working. We was working really hard. We were two of the hardest workers in that whole operation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, somehow in the midst of all this, we got this idea. See, little description here of the tire building. You have tire racks all around the outside, the perimeter of the building.
And there was shelving in the middle that left a perfect circle.
Yes, it was a perfect circle. We get this idea that we want to see if we can take this full wheeler around the inside of that tire building. And we wanted to see who could do it the fastest.
Oh,
Now,
absolutely.
on a cell phone somewhere in this world, Dave, I'm sorry, but there's video.
We, yeah, I'd like for you to find that phone.
At one point in time, we had actually rigged up the cell phone to the front of that four wheeler.
That was back before in-car cameras. We did it first.
I just want everybody in this world to know, out there in Dirt Racing Nation, that me, Kyle Bond, we invented in-car camera. We were GoPros before GoPros were a thing.
Absolutely.
We really was. We had a lot of fun back in them days. It's been awesome to watch your progression as a race car driver. You've come a long way, from me watching you race mini wedges, at our local racetracks. Last year, you had a big season, man. You had a
Oh,
big season. We talk about growth. You had 10 wins last season. You were what? Back-to-back UMP regional champ.
yeah.
2022, 2023.
Hmm.
That's not a little feat for anybody to accomplish. How did it feel to be able to have that kind of success? Because I know how hard you've worked for that. You're not a big budget operation. And I mean that in the most respectful way.
Oh,
You,
absolutely.
you are not a big budget operation. You, your dad, and everybody, you race out of your guys' garage there. You ain't got no $250,000 toters. You ain't got this unlimited budget for motors. Obviously, you do have some sponsors, you do have
Oh,
some
yeah.
help. But, how does it feel to have that kind of success racing on a shoestring budget?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, you know how much work it takes. I mean, you've been around racing all your life, so you know how much dedication, how much time you got to put into it. Not just when you leave your daily job, but coming home and working in the shop. It was a big accomplishment. And I feel like our area, as far as competition, is the best around. So to go out here and beat these guys, to do that 2 years in a row, that was a pretty big deal for us. And we had a really, really good year, 10 wins and that championship stuff. During the hustle and during the season, you really don't get to enjoy it as much. But to step back and think about it, it was a big deal.
Building off of your strong season last year, 10 wins, leading into this year, you have 3 wins so far. The one thing I've noticed about you year after year, I might as well call you Mr. Consistent. You're always
I
towards
like
the
that.
front. Yeah, you're always towards the front. And if I'm being honest, I'm not trying to blow your head up, but you are a very, very, very smooth race car driver. The one thing I really got to give you credit on, you are a very clean driver and you're still extremely fast. And you experience a great deal of success. Just staying out of trouble. You do a great job of maintaining your equipment. With your success last season and your success so far this season, what kind of confidence does that give you leading into, I guess we would call it the meat of the racing schedule? Obviously July, August, you got big time months of racing come up. A lot of money too. There is huge events all around, I would say, our region. I no longer live there, but what does that do for your confidence leading into the meat of the racing schedule this year?
Well, I feel like we definitely hit our stride at the right time, that's for sure. You always want to be the best come summertime. That's when all the big races start happening. I don't want to really say we struggled at the beginning of this year. I mean, we won right out of the gate, but then we kind of went on a little stretch there. We was just trying some things. It wasn't working like I thought it should. You know how it is. They just didn't pan out like you thought they would. So we kind of went back to our standard deal and we picked it back up. So I'm definitely really looking forward to some of these bigger races coming up. Especially at the places we run the best at. So definitely think we hit our stride at the right time.
You talk about hitting your stride. What's your schedule looking like over the next couple of weeks?
I mean, I think this weekend is the cancer race Chad Smith's putting on for his mom that passed. We'll definitely be there Saturday. As far as Friday goes, I'm sure we'll just be at High Valley. But we're definitely going to hit some of these bigger shows coming up. I know there's a couple. I think Zanesville has some coming up. We're just going to try to go wherever we can.
You got that Wednesday race coming up at Skyline. Speaking about Skyline, I recently came back in town. I hadn't been to Skyline, and I don't know, man. It had honestly been about 5 or 6 years since I had been to Skyline. I was completely taken back from the work that has been put into that place. Not only the facilities, but the track surface.
I think Jeff's done a really good job with that place and turning it around. The facility looks so much better. Just the atmosphere, I feel like itself has changed a little bit when you show up there. He's definitely improved that place a ton. And as far as the racing goes, it's been great. I mean, it's good.
Obviously, I was happy to see a good buddy of mine, Ty, pick up a win after everything he went through.
That was yeah, that was sweet.
After going back to the shop and that.
And I talked to him later that night, and that he catches a lot of grief from people, and I tell you, that's what me and Dad talked about. Like that's a true definition of a racer right there. Like that's something I would do if I had to.
Yep.
There's only a select few people that would do something like that just to get to go back to race, and to see him come back and win, that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it was I was pretty happy, but even outside of that, I was thoroughly entertained. I mean, I actually enjoyed my night there. I wish I could have stayed both nights, but I had to get back up here to home, and I had my boys. And I want to give a very big shout out to Jeff and the whole entire crew, because you see a lot of stuff on the internet about how racetrack, they need to get their program done, get people out of there early, and I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, now that I got a little boy and a family and stuff like that too, like, yeah, you don't want to be there all night.
I see where that is beneficial, but I also want to take the time to just give Jeff and all those guys, their roses. They got hit with one hell of a rain shower. I mean, it absolutely poured it down. He stuck it out. They worked their tails off to get that track ready and to give all the racers and the fans in the stands that were in attendance, a show. And I just think that is very, very commendable. And hey, Jeff, everybody that plays a part in Skyline Speedway, people like me, we appreciate it. So shout out to you guys.
Absolutely.
So, well, Kyle, hey man, it's always real getting to shoot the breeze with you, man. I've known you for such a long time, and getting to watch you grow up and getting to work with you and just being buddies and making some of the memories I've gotten to make with you. This is awesome for me to have you on here with us. So I appreciate you coming on, man. I want to wish you, your dad, Andy, the whole family. I just want to wish you guys the best of luck in the future. And hey, man, appreciate you, Bubba.
Oh, absolutely. We really appreciate that, and I appreciate you having me on here. Me and you've been good buddies, ever since we started working together. So we've stayed in
Oh,
touch, and you've kept up with my racing program and stuff. So we've been buddies, and it's really cool this dirt behind the scenes that you're doing. I felt like if someone could come up with a podcast about the weekly racing around here, whether it was who wrecked who or whatever, I'm telling you, it would be a big hit. So I like what you're doing, and I think you should keep it up.
listen, I ain't quitting till the fat lady sings, brother, and I don't see no fat ladies around this time of a gun.
No way.
All right, brother. Well, hey, Kyle, it's been real, brother. Take care, man.